the thing that probably had the greatest impact on me was I came as a high school exchange student to the United States in 1968. And I lived with a family in Delaware, and I have become such a profound believer in exchange programs for students of that age. Now, it's probably not as important today because modes of communication are so much easier, but for me to come to the United States and just to see a different world, I was placed with a very conservative Republican family in Delaware. They were obviously trying to match my family background.
Mm-hmm.
But
and Delaware had a good deal of racial separation.
Oh, it was completely segregated. But President Kennedy was in the White House, and my American family, who I grew to love, were wonderful with me. They took me to Washington. Rogers Morton was a great Republican congressman, and he took me to the White House, and I went to Valley Forge. But mostly what I did was to watch the evening news, Walter Cronkite. I mean, I couldn't believe that people could talk about their president the way Americans are talking about their president. I went again to an all-girls school, and I was taught how to read the New York Times. You know, we were told that on the main story is on the front page, the right-hand column. That the Tiffany ad is always on page 2. It was always interesting to me that they pointed out where.
Well, did you know you'd be marrying the New York Times?
So I actually learned more about South Africa here in the United States in that year, because so many books had been banned. I read Cry the Beloved Country by Alan Paton, but mostly it was watching the civil rights movement. I mean, people demanding their rights. You know, listening to Dr. Martin Luther King, listening, to. I was here during the Cuban crisis, and it was just I think it just blew my mind without realizing at the time how expansive education is. So it's wonderful.